Ms. Simmons, you claim that the defendant begged you to have his baby, but then disappeared when you told him you were pregnant. So you're here to prove to Mr. Burgess and his fiancé that he is your son's father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Burgess, you say your relationship with the plaintiff was just a quick fling, and Ms. Simmons wants you to take care of another man's baby. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Simmons, you are 20 years old. How did you get involved with a man that's almost twice your age?
We was talking online at first, and we was talking over the phone, and he had told me he was single and everything. And then I had came to his house and everything. And the first day I did come to the house, we did have sex on the first day. So we just was kicking it ever since then.
Did you use protection?
We was using condoms, but they kept breaking, so we stopped using condoms.
Okay. Mr. Burgess, did you tell her you were single?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
You did?
Yes, ma'am.
You say you have a fiancé?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so if you were having sex and the condom kept breaking, how is it that you can definitively say you are not Malachi's biological father?
I had my doubts, you know, from her coming over there the first time I seen her, you know, and we chopped it up as soon as she came over there.
How often did you have sex, Miss Simmons?
We was always having sex.
That's not true, Your Honor. When I met online, I talked to her once or twice. I got her number, and we went from there. And she came over maybe once or twice.
You a liar.
Started three times probably a week for up to between 2 to 3 months.
No, you a liar. I was over there almost every day. If I wasn't at school or at work, I was at your house. So how is it only twice or 3 times? Don't lie, because she's here.
She's lying.
And you say he's not telling the truth, Miss Simmons?
No, he lying. He lying. I was there almost every day. I was at his house all the time.
Maybe 3 times a week.
You a lie.
I was working. I wasn't leaving her in my house.
No.
So my question is, if you were having sex with her and she says the condom was continuously breaking to the point where you all just stopped using them, how is it that you can definitively say that you are not Malachi's biological father?
He only saying it because she's here.
No, I ain't saying that.
So you believe, Miss Simmons, that he's just saying this to protect the relationship, to try to save the relationship?
Like he only doing that because at the end of the day, first of all, he was like, oh, we don't need no DNA test and everything, and all of a sudden now we in court.
I never told you that.
Yes, you did.
I never told you we don't
See,
need
you know
no
what?
DNA
You the
test.
reason why people record
I never told her that.
Because you a lie.
I never told her that, Your Honor.
You's a lie.
And another thing, I'm not just definitively saying that it ain't no possibility that I can be that child's father. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so you're not. You know that you are a possible father.
It's a possibility, yes.
You know that you possibly could.
And
you just don't believe that you are.
I don't believe I am. I'm saying I got my doubts.
All right, and this is what I want to talk about. What proof do you have?
I can go to the poster here.
Oh, you've brought an exhibit.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, step over to it, please. Let me see.
Okay. See, 3 is meaning when she came to my house, the first time she ever came to my house, it was within 3 hours of us having sex. You know, that's very quick.
Numbers don't lie, you said.
True.
Okay.
Okay. 1, the time that we actually had unprotected sex, 1 day she told me she was pregnant.
You's
Real talk. She told me she was pregnant.
Lie.
The next day, she was
Why
like,
you
I'm pregnant. I
lying?
said, how you gonna know that? She was like, I know my body. That's what she said.
You were lying. I never tell you I was pregnant until I had 2 pregnancy tests. So why you lying?
Of having unprotected sex, I ain't never had no baby. You know what I'm saying?
That ain't got nothing to do with me or what you got going on with somebody else.
You know
That
what
ain't
I'm
nothing to do with my body.
That's why I said it's a 0% chance of me being that baby father. You know what I'm saying?
So let me understand this. 3 hours after you met, you had sex.
Yes,
but
ma'am.
1 day after you had that sex, she said she was pregnant.
Yes, ma'am.
So you had sex, and then the next day she says, I'm pregnant.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you say it's 4,840 days of unprotected sex. Oh, you're basically saying you've been having sex for all of this time.
Yes, ma'am.
And not using protection.
Yes, ma'am.
That's nothing to be proud of.
Exactly.
Thank
you.
But
No.
what you're saying is...
Thank you. Thank you.
This has been with her, though.
Thank you.
But not only that, Your Honor, I have some more things to say now.
All right.
When she left, my house basically turned into a player pad where my cousins then were there. You know what I'm saying? We had chicks over there and whatever. I might go out, come back in. They touching all on her. She liking it.
But
she ain't doing nothing about it.
But
I ain't got no reason to lie about
Oh,
it.
you a lie. You a lie. You a lie.
You know I ain't lying.
You lying. You been lying
Look.
since you stepped here.
All right, so I want to move on to the pregnancy. Ms. Simmons, when you found out you were pregnant, did you tell Mr. Burgess?
First of all, the man asked me, even though we was having sex at the time, he was like, I want you to have my baby. I want to have a daughter because I already have a son. And I want you to have my daughter because I'm a lie. You's a lie.
She's lying.
No, you's a lie. So anyways, the day I took the pregnancy test, I had sent him a picture of the 2 pregnancy tests I took. So he was taking too long to respond, so I had called him. And when I spoke on the phone with him, I was crying because I was like, I'm just starting to get into my life. I was going to school, I had a job, and I was like, I ain't ready to be nobody's mother. So he was like, yeah, don't cry. God know what he was doing and everything like that. So then that's when he had told me he was going to Alabama and everything. And I was like, what you going to Alabama for? And he's like, oh, I'm just going with some homies. Lies.
Some homies.
Lies.
She lying. Not only that, Your Honor, why would I want to have a child by somebody I don't even know their name? I didn't even know this girl's real name until she told me this baby was born.
You didn't know her real name?
She told me her name was Mia. That's what all I knew, Mia.
Cause I was like, shoot, I don't really know you like that. So I was like,
Y'all lying about names and having unprotected sex? If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. Did you tell anyone else you were pregnant?
My mom knew, my sister, both of my sisters were there when I was taking the pregnancy test.
Were you having sex with anyone else?
No. So why would I have to inform any other man?
Well, if you weren't having sex with any other man, you wouldn't, but that was the question that I have to ask you because you're in paternity court.
Okay, but yeah, no.
Let's go back to the pregnancy, Mr. Burgess. So once you find out she's pregnant, what are your thoughts? What do you say?
I said, I was like, who baby that is? That for real? I was like, that ain't my baby. I said, we're gonna have to find out. You know what I'm saying? That's what I told her. Cause I wasn't finna take care of no child that ain't mine. You know what I'm saying about?
Well, you ain't taking care of him now.
Real
He's yours, so.
Real talk, I wasn't finna take care of nobody else baby if it ain't mine.
Were you supportive during the pregnancy?
I wasn't there.
No, he wasn't there at all.
Look,
he left after I told him that I was pregnant. A month later, he was gone.
She didn't have a phone.
He was gone. I went to the hospital to get a real hospitalized pregnancy test. They tell me that I'm 13 weeks and 6 days. So I called his phone looking for him. Matter of fact, I popped up at his apartment and everything so I could show him the ultrasound pictures. He ain't there for his downstairs neighbor to tell me that he been gone for a month. How you been gone for a month and I just told you I might be pregnant with your baby? How is that possible? But you call yourself a real man, though.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Burgess. Is it true that once you found out that she potentially was pregnant with your child, you left town?
Yep.
It wasn't like that.
Yep.
It wasn't like that. Me and her was just a sex thing. I knew this girl probably like 2 or 3 months. You know what I'm saying? Me and this girl, me and my fiance, me and her was talking about get back together. She was in Alabama.
Let's make it clear, because you just told me the other day you got a new girlfriend named. So at the end of the day, your ex-fiancé calling my phone, stealing my number out your phone, calling me at 11:45 at night, telling me, oh, you and Chris date? What you concerned about it for? Ask your man.
Well, hold on. I'd like to hear from you, ma'am. Please stand. State your name for the court.
My name is Kinshasa Arnold.
Ms. Arnold,
Yes.
you are Mr. Burgess's fiancé?
Nope.
That sounds like that's a very slow no.
Yes.
You are his fiancé.
Yeah, we are engaged.
How did you find out about Miss Simmons?
I found out about her
through his phone?
I went through his phone. He came to Alabama to visit me one weekend. But I noticed the whole time that when he was there, his phone was off. So it came to the point to where we had to take him to the bus station to catch his bus to get back to Atlanta. So he had to charge his phone up. But as soon as it comes on, 2 text messages pop up. He ended up falling asleep. So when he went to sleep, I looked at the phone. And when I looked at the phone, the unknown number said, so this how you gonna do? You gonna sending me to the voicemail. So you just gonna stand me up. Call me when you get this message. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I called back from his phone. That's when she answered.
And what did this conversation go like?
It went real bad. So I said, Chris, whose number is this? He was like, well, my cousin been using my phone, so it's probably somebody he know. I called from my phone first. She didn't answer.
Okay.
So I called from his phone. I asked her who was she and what was going on between her and Chris, and she went to the fact of, man, you tripping. What you worried about it for? Ask him. So I said, no, I
That's
called you.
That's who your relationship with.
So I said, no, I'm going to ask you. So I guess she hung up. But any kind of way, it ended up, she called his phone back. So I snatched the phone from him. So I said, yeah, he's here in Alabama with me. What's going on with y'all? So she was like, well, I'm pregnant with his baby. So I turned to him and I pushed him. And I said, so she pregnant with your baby? He said, nah, man, she messing with you. She lying. She ain't pregnant with me.
Mr. Burgess, you awfully quiet now.
Hey, I'm letting them talk, you know, cause hey.
So let's be honest, Mr. Burgess. Are you denying this child because you don't believe this is your biological child? Are you denying this child to save your relationship with Ms. Arnold?
He trying to save
I'm not worried
relationship.
that, cause me and her done talk whether this child is mine or not. We
I
gonna be
petitioned
together.
his court for the paternity because of the fact that Chris and I kept telling him that this is his child.
No, you
Regardless
didn't.
of what,
No, you didn't.
You don't know
want
what
that.
I tell him.
No,
you don't know what I tell him.
I know what you sent to my phone. That's
what
I know.
I sent to your
That's
phone,
what I
but you don't know what I tell
well, at the
this
end of the
man.
day, don't say
I've been
lie.
with him. I've been with him.
Okay,
I know
and
this.
obviously we
She
both
can't tell
been
me-
with him.
She
I'm
can't
just the one
tell.
with the
She can't
child.
speak on nothing about what I tell him or what we discuss. First of all, because she ain't there and she don't know. I told him that he is that child's father.
Once she
and
seen
what
the picture,
once I seen the picture,
she did say
and
that.
I told him that, and that's what we used to get into it about. Because I kept telling him, how are we gonna deal with this situation?
Let me ask you this. So if the child is his or if the child is not his, you're committed to your fiancé.
Of course.
Okay. So why is it when
That's-
you stood up and I asked you were you his fiancé, it took you over 30 seconds to answer?
Because we've been going through some things. But like I said, we've been talking. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I've been with this man for over 12 years.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter who comes and who goes. We still right here, even though it may seem crazy, but we are.
Mr. Burgess, is your name on Malachi's
No.
birth certificate?
No, ma'am. I didn't even know when he was born.
I told you he was due in December. I told you and her to get y'all stuff together
You ain't
by
tell me
December.
because I didn't
yes,
talk
I did.
No, you didn't.
Oh.
I didn't know when this baby was due. Chris was the one that told me the baby was due in December.
First of all, I told.
After I blocked my
texted
number.
your phone because I can't even talk to Chris no more. I texted your
that
phone
day
and told
you
you.
didn't text
You
my-
and him
you
get it
sent me
together
some-
by December. Get it together by
never-
December.
She
What-
never
and then
told-
I ain't
why
get
I
in
gotta
contact
get
with him until
anything
March,
together by
April.
December?
Come on now.
One at a time.
A month after Chris get to Alabama with me, she called my phone looking for Chris. I said, do you know how you sound? You calling here to speak to my man and you think I'm just finna put him on the phone like that?
That ain't what you said.
Yes, I did.
No,
and
and she said we've been together
and
for
she-
10 years. What you expected? He wasn't gonna never leave me. Girl, stop.
No, you stop.
No, you
want to
stop.
sit here and tell me to stop, but you
'Cause you
19
lying. That's
years
what I'm telling
old.
you. You lying.
19 years old, and you
No,
sleep with
sweetheart, I'm
somebody.
21 up to
at
that
that
ass up
time,
to-
Hold
you were
on.
19.
One at a time.
At that time, you were 19.
One at a time.
21. Thank you.
One
At
at a
that
time.
time, she was
Sit here and
19
think you
years
know me.
old, and you went and got pregnant for somebody who you didn't know.
I didn't win
So
to get
you can't
pregnant.
tell me
Your man
nothing.
got me
You
pregnant.
need to.
I didn't
you
win
need
to
to
get
But
pregnant.
Miss Arnold, let's be honest. I mean,
Tomorrow I went and got pregnant.
she's the young person in the situation. It's your fiance that went chasing after a girl half his age.
But ask him what I told him. Ask him what did I tell him.
And look, he is a part of this too.
But
They're
ask
real.
him what I told him though.
They're
I
real,
ain't never
Mama.
let up on him. It wasn't about that. I never let up on him now.
So the bottom line is, if this child is in fact his biological child, you all are in this together.
No, we not, because she will never be around my son.
No, the bottom line is, Miss Simmons, that's where your 21-year-old self is talking.
No, not my
Because
21 years old.
no.
When somebody
No.
text your phone saying, born
No,
child.
no.
all this and all that shit,
What
would
you
never see
don't,
my
what
son.
you don't
Never.
understand is, what
Never.
you don't
Thank you for being
understand
honest
is,
this time.
I've been honest
Miss
the whole
Simmons,
time.
Miss Simmons, what you don't understand is if it is his biological child, barring some extreme circumstance where it would be deemed that he would be unfit to see his child, he would have a legal right to see the child.
Okay.
A legal right. And if they are in fact married, and she will be the stepmother to your child. That's what happens when you have a child by someone. You're not married to them. If they're married to someone else, that person, by default, becomes a part of your child's
I don't have
life.
a problem if he had a normal girlfriend, but anybody who texts your phone saying unborn child and all this and everything,
And
how did
no-
you deserve to even see my son, be around my son? First of all,
Well,
that's what I want to know.
listen, and that's why you're here today, is because we need to get down to the bottom of this and figure out how to move forward in a mature way. Let's go to the results. Let's figure out where we are. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Simmons versus Burgess, When it comes to 8-month-old Malachi Simmons, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Burgess, you are the father.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Miss Simmons, don't clown. Don't clown.
I'm sorry.
Don't clown.
I'm sorry.
This is something that you needed. And Mr. Burgess, you still aren't talking. You look worried.
I just know I messed up, though. When she left me like that, I was just empty, and I just was looking for a face to feel, really tell the truth.
When you are engaging in sex as a sport, like you just ain't got nothing else you can do with your time, but just run around and just have sex with people you don't even know their real name, and then you produce a real human being, where do we go from here? Ms. Simmons, you have this child that's going to want and need a relationship with his father. We've got to figure out how to give that to him.
Can I say?
But no, I'm done taking testimony. I'm giving my ruling because I've heard enough. Ms. Vaughn, you are here to prove to your husband, Mr. Williams, that he is the father of your 1-year-old child, Connor Williams. You say the only reason the two of you got married was because of the pregnancy, and now that you filed for divorce, he refuses to be a father. Now, you're also suing the defendant for $1,275 for daycare expenses. Is that correct?
Yes, Judge.
All right, Mr. Williams, you say you got married under false pretenses and claim Ms. Vaughn only used you for your money. You also believe Ms. Vaughn has a secret sugar daddy and had that man throughout your entire relationship, and he's the real father.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Vaughn, tell me, what has Mr. Williams done for Connor?
Brian hasn't did anything for him. The only thing he has done was buy 2 cases of diapers and furnish 2 outfits when he was a newborn.
And the child is 1 year old?
Yes, and he watched him while I was at work for a couple of times, but it's not enough of a month full of
Your Honor,
Sundays.
that is not true. I've done much more
It
than
is
that.
true.
You can't put a price on how much a man can support his child.
Yes, you can.
No, you
The curriculum
cannot.
Every day.
Mr. Williams, you're saying you have supported this child.
Yes, of course.
He's 1, but you're also saying now, I've supported him, but he's not mine.
Yes, I did, because
Get it
it was
straight.
based on a love and a belief that I was being married to Miss Vaughn.
So, Ms. Vaughn, were you in a relationship, a committed relationship
We
when you
was
got
dating.
pregnant?
Yes,
You were
we
just
was in a
dating.
committed relationship.
You were boyfriend
Yes.
and girlfriend.
Yes.
You get pregnant.
Yes.
But you
Yes,
also
he agreed.
say, Mr. Williams, the only reason you married her is because you thought this baby was yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
But now you have doubt.
Yes, she's presented with a lot of
Makes
doubt.
sense.
Brian was defending her honor after people on campus let him know that that was not his baby.
Brian knows that he's Connor's father.
I didn't even
period.
know her.
So who
I
are
didn't
these,
meet
who
her
are these
until
people
after
on? Hold on, one at a time. You say you had people telling you she was promiscuous and she was having sex with other people and the
Yes,
child may not
because-
be yours?
Because I did disclaim that at one point she was putting me in the doghouse, so it gave me a lot of free time to not be with her. And by the doghouse, I mean
Brian's
we were
lying,
not
Your
being
Honor.
intimate. We were not always together.
Brian's lying.
For days at a time.
Did you have doubt, Mr. Williams, when you married her?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, I had my doubts. No,
You
because
did.
I-
But in
because
the
it's
court
always been-
papers, you said you were pressured to marry her.
Yes, Your Honor.
At
Not
first,
her mother.
my thought was it was just 2 young people making a decision about what they were going to do based on the pregnancy. And so I requested to meet her mother because I couldn't believe that a parent would be in support
When did you find out
of
Centauria was
this.
pregnant? 'Cause your son
And
did
so his father and I requested to meet her. We actually went to her house. And after having the discussion with her and she shared with us, then the next step was for them to get married because her grandchild, she never said their child, her grandchild was not coming into this world a bastard. So at that point, we realized that she was the one driving the bus on this relationship. And along the way, I've tried to realize who's been pregnant, who got pregnant by Brian, the daughter or the mother, because she's been running the whole time.
Did you pressure Mr. Williams, your daughter, to get married?
I raise my children. If he's good enough to lay with, you need to get married. No premarital sex. I raise my children in the church. And that's the way that the church has taught us. I married my children's father. And I expect my children to marry whoever gets them pregnant or not to have sex until they get married.
And so you're saying, yes, these are my beliefs. I believe
These
if
are
you
my
get
beliefs,
pregnant.
and I'm gonna put it out there.
And so,
that worked?
bottom line is, you're admitting, yes,
I'm sorry,
I
you
did
couldn't
tell
marry
them.
yours because you have.
You kicked your son out the house and
Yes.
you don't support him, so I don't understand why you're pretending like you support him.
Why?
It takes two
Hush.
people to have sex. I think
Exactly. You
it
should have
takes
told
two
him not to
people
have sex until
consent.
he was married. But I'm sorry, you was never
Miss
married.
Boyd, Miss Boyd, stop. Don't.
Well, I think
Why are you
that's
telling her she should have taught her son to
Damn.
not have sex?
Thank you.
When your daughter's having sex with
Thank
him.
you.
Exactly. She's
Thank
not
you.
the only one that fought here, and he's
I'm
not the
glad
only one
somebody
that
pointed that out.
It is clear that both of them
fought. Correct.
were engaging in activities they were not prepared to see through when they were faced with the
I stepped up to the
consequence.
plate and took care of my responsibility, so I wasn't prepared then,
you're
but I'm
supposed
prepared
to.
now.
Well, look,
That's what you're
look,
supposed to do.
every
You're supposed to do the
Supposed
same
to
thing, and
also.
he's not doing it.
That's
You
what
know
you're
your son's
supposed
not
to.
doing
And
it.
when you
So you
Okay,
can
so
sit up
why
there and
you
act
can't-
like
one
you
at a
do it,
time,
but
one
he's
at a
not
time.
responsible.
Let's get some order. We're getting through this thing. Because ultimately, I see you all want to go back and forth and just jab one another with insults. At the end of the day, we're trying to do this for Connor.
Yes.
There is a question as it relates to
Yes.
his paternity.
Yes.
And it's affecting his life
Yes.
because he's one,
Yes.
and the man that you say is his biological father is saying, I don't believe I am.
Yes.
And you know what? At one, a baby recognizes their father.
Yes.
Yes.
They call for their father. Usually one of the first things they say.
Yes.
Does he say Dada?
Yes.
Does he mean Mr. Williams when he's saying it? Is that who he's talking about?
He doesn't know his father.
So how does he even know the word?
Because Brian acted like he was the father up to a couple of months ago.
Okay,
Well,
so you're
Papa
saying
Bear
he
can-
was
like, he
present
can talk-
and then a
talk
couple
Papa.
months ago just started backing off.
Yes. I mean, don't get it wrong. Even when he was there, he still wasn't furnishing any revenue. It was just him sitting there.
Playing his PS4.
Not watching. And his mother can attest that he just sits there and plays on the electronics while he's watching Connor.
But she
so
may
it's not
lie
like
now.
he was there, his shell was there, but he wasn't taking on the father role.
In Mr. Williams' court papers, he alludes to the fact that he thinks you have a sugar daddy. What is this all about?
He is one of my childhood friends, and when I called and told him that Brian was not taking care of his responsibilities, when I was short on a couple of things and I couldn't call and ask Brian for it, he made sure he was there for it. He has never once said that he was Connor's father. He's always trying to get Brian to step up to the plate and be a father.
Mr. Williams, you say she's got a sugar daddy. What is this all about in your mind?
It was a phone call that I received, and it just pretty much took me over the edge. I'm not sure how he even obtained my number, but he was telling me to babysit. Well, why would I be babysitting my child? So he told me to be there babysitting.
This man is telling you when to be there to take care of your child?
Yes,
Because Brian,
Wait a minute. Who is this person?
it's her Papa Bear. That's her nickname for him.
Papa Bear.
Yes.
How do you know that?
I've retrieved evidence from her Facebook account.
Jerome, will you hand me his evidence, please? And you say she calls him Papa Bear.
Yes, I
ma'am.
do.
Oh, you do? Well, all right. So this is an exchange between Miss Vaughn and Papa Bear. Miss Vaughn says, I think he should get a DNA test. And then Papa Bear says, see, this next message you see says, Lil Connor will be calling me daddy by next month.
Insinuating that he's not calling him daddy right now because that's not his father.
So you're reading these Facebook messages and you've got your wife calling a man Papa Bear. They're going back and forth on Facebook. And he's saying by next month, the baby will be calling me daddy. And you're reading messages about somebody needing to get a DNA test. And you're feeling like this all is pointing to you and the fact that you may not be Connor's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So did you confront Ms. Vaughn and say, what are these messages and who is this person?
I've tried to contact her. She started blocking my number when
Yes.
I would ask about, her relationship. When I was coming over to her house, that they're already there, not dressed, and claiming that it's just a regular friendship.
Wait, when you come over to Ms. Vaughn's house, what, to
To-
see Connor?
Yes, ma'am,
Then
because
Papa Bear and Ms. Vaughn are there and they don't have any clothes on?
Yes, Your Honor.
That's incorrect. Don't lie. Don't lie.
Ms. Vaughn, I'm asking you this respectfully. Have you been intimate with Papa Bear? Is it an intimate relationship or just best friends?
We are an intimate relationship.
Oh, you are in an intimate
But
relationship.
she's still married, though, and he's the father.
Oh, we're still.
You get it from your mama.
No, you get your behavior from your mother because
but we've
you
never
all
been
don't
on
know
31st
anything
Street.
about my household.
Hold
Let's
on.
get it correct,
Hold
sir.
on.
Brian,
Ms. Vaughn, I want to be clear. You're still married to Mr.
we're
Williams.
separated, yes.
You're separated from
Legally.
Mr. Williams, but you are intimate with this Papa Bear guy.
Yeah.
So you understand then, if he reads these messages and knows that you're intimate with this man, can you see why he would have doubt?
Yes.
Ms. Boyd, what I want to understand is, because I see you, I mean, you've got so much negative things to say about Mr. Williams, you know, in hindsight, do you regret making your daughter marry him? Because you the one set this up.
Okay. When she brought this nothing home, I said, why are you bringing him home? He's a project. She said, that's Brian being Brian. No, he's a project still to today.
Hold on, Ms. Boyd. I want to understand this because you're so angry, and yet what I'm saying is that you encourage them to get married.
I wish that I wouldn't have dogged him like I did because it drew her closer to him. If I would have listened to everyone else and said, no, just let it ride, because she's going to smarten up and she's going to ditch the loser. But I kept on saying, Tori, he's a project.
So, Ms.
and you
Vaughn,
brought him
in
one
addition
pack of-
to
one
the
pack of,
paternity issue,
thing.
you also say you have spent close to $2,550 in child care expenses for this year that you say Mr. Williams has not helped you out at all. You're suing for half of those expenses, which is $1,275 for daycare. Do you have any evidence that you brought to court to validate those expenses? Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So these are the receipts for child care.
Yes, for Connor Williams, you know, his daddy's last name.
All right. So this is 3 months of child care pretty much
And I get no government assistance, so it's straight cash.
that you're having to pay to make sure your child is able to go to child care, presumably so you can go to work or school or whatever you have to do.
Right.
Mr. Williams, this is $2,550. You know a child has to have someone to care for it. She's saying she's been paying out this money so she can go to work, but you aren't working. Have you helped her with this $2,550? Or have you at least said, while you're working, I will watch him so we don't have to incur this expense?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have done. Which one of them have you done?
I was coming to her house.
In the last 3 months, have you come to her house to watch the child?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has he been there?
Out of those 3 months that he's been in child care, he watched him for 2 weeks. But, you know, it's 4 weeks in every month, 4 times 3.
So for 2 weeks, he did watch him. But for the $850 that you've paid per month for the subsequent months, he hasn't helped watch him.
No.
Your Honor. Now she's saying that nobody helped her with child care, but I offered, and she has
You
yet to
offered
call
$50
me.
out of a month.
She
When
received
she
my
was
money.
paying that
She was taking
child
it.
support
Because
money.
I was giving her my money.
She never
I was giving my
called.
mother my money while I was staying in Frankfurt.
He did.
And
It
you
was
know what she
$40
did?
twice. $40.
It was not
That's
$40
more.
twice.
Yes,
it was
was.
way more than $40 because
How much
it even
was it,
shocked my
Brian?
mother.
How much
One at a time.
It was even shocking
One
my
at a
mother
time.
that I was
Mr.
giving
Williams,
her
what
this
are you
much money.
testifying
How
to?
much money?
I was testifying to receiving her money, and then she was going and telling me, calling me back that she was using it to go partying with.
Okay, so I'm gonna break some things down to you so you won't think I'm just one of these people spending his money on stuff. Connor is not on government assistance anything. I pay for child care, health care, lights, water, phone bill, car insurance, and anything else. So if he only sends me $60, what is that to anything?
It's $60,
Right.
but it's subtracted from
Right.
the amount that you...
So his $60 is putting it to the pool of bills.
Did you admit to him that the money he gave you spent partying?
Yes.
Okay, so you did. You spent the money he gave you partying.
Because that.
All right, let's go to the results, Jerome.
Okay, whatever. Get the results.
Let's go to the results. Ms. Vaughn, I don't know why you're so cavalier. Whatever, get to the results. What is that? What is that about?
Because
I'm just being honest.
Right.
You're the one in paternity court.
Right.
I mean, it's almost as if you've taken on such a victim mentality that you're forgetting, as a young woman, the only reason you're here is because you did it to yourself. Because I mean, it's the truth.
You're right.
Because you done got in here and you whatever, whatnot, this, you breaking it down, you got so much mouth. A woman that's got that much mouth
got enough sense to know when you go look at a young man like this, if I lay down with him without no protection, I'm gonna be on my own.
Woo!
You know what I'm saying? Look, because I try to get Mr. Williams to just get one thought together today. It's been tough. So, you know, you the one said it was your boyfriend. So you got a lot to say today, but baby.
I made my mistake. We all make mistakes.
Baby.
I made them.
Okay? So sometimes you need to know when to just be humble and be quiet.
Right.
That's what she's doing.
You're right. You're right.
So with that said, let me get you all these results so we can figure out how to get this baby the mother and father that he deserves. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Vaughn versus Williams, as it pertains to 12-month-old Connor Williams, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Williams, you are the father.
Pay the lady. Pay the lady. Pay the lady.
Mr. Williams, you are the father.
Yes, Your Honor.
You are the father. You're gonna have to raise that child together. You're gonna have to help be responsible for him, care for him, and your lack of bonding with him because of whatever your doubt was, that's time he's lost when he could have had the love of his father. Today is about how do we move forward. We got the truth. This baby is here. He's one. That's his father. You've got to take care of the child. You owe her. She came here saying, for 3 months, I've spent $2,550. I've been paying for childcare for this child so I can go out and get money that I need to take care of the child. You're responsible for half those childcare expenses. So for that reason, my judgment is for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,275. You owe her that.
Ms. Woodbury, you claim you are 110% certain that your fiancé, Mr. Cage, is the father of your 1-year-old son, Lexington. You say your reality TV persona has put you in the position of having to prove paternity to Mr. Cage, but also to all of the naysayers on social media and the world. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Cage, you say your paternity doubt began when the plaintiff was pregnant because of the many rumors that came from friends and others on social media. You are hoping today's results will prove you are the father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so Ms. Woodbury, you say you need everyone to know he's the dad.
Yes, Your Honor.
Explain.
I mean, I know 110% that Daquan is the father of my child. I don't sleep with no one. I don't look at nobody. I don't have feelings for no one else but this man. You know, there's always gonna be people in his ear no matter where we go, just because I do have that reality star TV persona. And it could be not even denying our son or anything. No matter what I do with my life, someone has an opinion.
And so let's be completely honest. Your public persona, often you're portrayed as a girl that's fun, carefree, living life, sexy, fun. So this entire image, you believe, is now almost kind of backfired in that these people expect you to be something you're saying you're not.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Cage, can you take me back to how you met and tell the court how you feel about this public persona?
I didn't get with her because of her persona. I got with her because of the person she was. When I first met her, she hit me up on Instagram through a Snapchat from a friend that she saw. And she was just like, hey, I have an event. You know, I want you to come out. I want you to hang out with me and some of my friends.
You can't bring your friend.
But you can't bring your friend. So I got in the Uber. I pulled up to the event, and she just pulled up. So we walk into the club, do the walkthrough, and then after that, it was history.
Oh, wait, you say history?
Yeah.
Oh, so what does that mean? So you do the walkthrough.
Yeah.
I invited him back home. And then he didn't leave after that. He stayed.
Well, this was the thing. This was the thing.
So what you're saying is you went back to your place,
Yeah.
and you all were intimate on the first night?
Yes.
Yes.
Did you use protection?
No.
Oh, y'all are doing the most. So we start off irresponsible.
Yep. Yes.
Have you decided your boyfriend and girlfriend now? I mean, what is
Not right
this?
away. No, not right away.
We were still just like hanging out. I mean, like, people were always telling me, they were just like, even some of her co-stars, they were just like, hey, listen, don't trust Caylea. She's out there. And I say birds of a feather flock together. So it was just like, oh, if you're hanging out with them, you must be, you know, doing
So
the
were
same
you
type of-
were you out there, Miss Woodbury? Tell the truth. What was going on?
Back then, I wasn't sleeping around. I was having fun. I'm 21. I'm having fun. I'm going out dancing. I'm partying. Yeah, I'm partying.
Okay, but if we're being honest, you did bring him to your event, then bring him to your house, then sleep with him unprotected on the first day. Now, the way this courtroom usually goes, most people say, well, if you did that once, you probably did it before.
I mean, I'm not saying I haven't done it, but not multiple times.
I
mean,
know
you
around, I
it was
know
young.
around one or two that she's done that with, so.
But it wasn't right after the other.
So you're very much aware of the situation.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so at some point, Miss Woodbury, you find out you're pregnant. Take me to that day.
I think it was a year after we finally settled down, and I haven't been feeling right. I just feel weird. So I just got up and went to the store. The store was right next to our house at the time. So I went up, got a test, and shortly after that, it said, positive, you're pregnant. So I just yelled at to him, and I was like, hey, you're gonna be a dad. And then yeah.
So what was the response? Were you happy?
I
me,
told
it
her she
was
was lying. I was like, you're lying. She was like, no, I'm not. I'll go get another one. And I was like,
I'll take
go get
it in
another
front of
one.
you.
She got another one. It was positive, and I mean, like, I was happy but scared at the same time.
When does the doubt just
4
set
months
in and you go, is this my baby?
So the doubt started kicking in.
3 months in.
Yeah, around 3 months in. There was a artist, and he scarily resembles me. Like, it's kind of
No,
weird.
he does not.
We resemble each other, and everyone thinks so as well. And pretty much, they talked all the time. She says,
About
oh,
what?
we don't talk
About
all the
what?
time.
Music.
No, I don't know, because
Music.
I never checked. But the things that he was saying in front of me and some of my family members were very disrespectful, and you just brushed it right off.
Tell the court what kinds of things was he saying specifically?
Like, we were in the car, and before we got out there, we were just letting him know that she was pregnant. And he was like, oh, yeah, I already know. The baby gonna be good. Her and the baby gonna be good. That's my girl. You know, like.
That's my girl. But yeah, other people say that to our friends all the time, and you don't think anything of it. But when it's turned to me, it's like.
Because I know
To me, it's my
Well,
girl.
the
Like, that's
correct
my girl.
response
As in,
would have
like,
been congratulations, right?
Yeah.
Do you believe at some point she was intimate with this guy?
I feel so.
But I've never ever hung out with him outside of without him there.
But you
never ever hung out with the guy.
You've hung out with him prior.
One time, and everyone was around.
These were
and you
multiple
saw,
times.
all
I
our
remember you're
other
telling me
friends
that
were
you're
there.
always with him.
So the
Never.
point is, this relationship with this guy, Mr. Cage, you've not always been very comfortable with, but you're trying to lean into your trust and believe that Ms. Woodbury's saying there's no physical, emotional, sexual connection.
I believe you're 100%, because at the end of the day, it's like, I have to trust her because we're in a relationship, and I have to make sure that she knows that I have her back.
But you didn't have my back because you.
I didn't have your back after you and me started going back and forth every single day.
Okay, how did it start going back and forth?
It started with people around her who knew both of us. They're very close to both of us. They're like, you need to get a DNA test because we don't even trust it. So when we were filming, and I told you specifically that me and this person sat down because she couldn't film.
Yeah.
And yeah, you remember that now, don't you? And she told me.
I didn't know about the
She
DNA
told me
thing.
everything. She told me not to trust you. She told me about the guy, how not to trust you and the guy. She told me all of that. And she told me to watch out.
All right. So pretty much we now see how we arrived at very substantial paternity doubt. And what I'm also clear about now is, Mr. Cage, you were saying all the right things, but you were feeling something different.
Of course. I'm just.
You really weren't living your best life. You was living your best lie.
Yeah.
Right? And Ms. Woodbury, what it seems like to me is this public persona was affecting your relationship.
Very much so. And then especially when it's my child, like our child, and you're gonna deny him, it hurts because there are fathers out there that are the father of a child and they still deny it. And I don't, like, you could 110% look, that's his, oh my gosh, that's his child.
Okay, so eventually Lexington is born.
Yes.
He signed the birth certificate.
Signed the birth certificate.
I had to be there.
And now Lexington is a year old.
Yes.
You're his daddy.
Yep.
You have a relationship and bond with this beautiful baby. And yet, somewhere deep inside you, there's just that question mark that won't go away.
I just want closure.
But there's no denying him. There's
At
a
the end of
picture,
the
I did
day,
provide a picture,
I just
and it
want
looks
closure.
a spitting image of him, same eye. Daquan has big eyes. He says he don't, he do. And I got small little eyes. I got colored eyes. He got brown eyes. Lexington has brown eyes.
The artist has brown
Naturally, I
eyes.
have blonde hair. I dye it all the time. He has dark hair, curly hair. I have pin straight
So,
hair.
Ms. Woodbury, I don't want to interrupt you, but I want to say there are certain lyrics in this courtroom that are familiar. When you start singing a song about, and see, says he's got dimples and he's got dimples. He's got an eye and he's got an eye. Right? He likes eggs and he likes eggs. Like that, when that song starts to play, what it tells me is there is doubt. And you are trying to give him facts to convince him. When you gotta convince, there's doubt. And that doesn't mean that the doubt is substantiated. It just means that the doubt is real. Am I lying?
You're being 100%.
I don't sit here to lie. So do you ever feel like he looks like this other guy? And I don't mean to bring him up because we're doing well, but I gotta ask because when there's paternity doubt, there's usually another guy.
I feel like there's certain features.
Where?
I feel like there's certain
Where?
features.
He looks, okay, one, he's so much darker than you. And
It don't matter. You're
No.
like.
Just no. He looks.
I don't have to say it.
110% nothing like the other man. Looks nothing like him.
Miss Woodbury, I gotta say, in this courtroom, that's defunct testimony because it doesn't mean anything. So the truth is the stakes are really high because you're pregnant again, Miss Woodbury.
I am. With the same man that laid with me the first time.
So we're having another baby. Have you thought about, what if Lexington is not my child?
We would have a long talk resulting in me going somewhere else. Yes.
See, but this is what I'm talking about. And babies are blessings. But what concerns me is that if you would have that response here, why are we making more babies? Because I can tell that knocked the wind out of you, Miss Woodbury. You didn't see that one coming, did you?
No, because he's been in his life for a whole year.
I never said I was leaving his life.
Why would you walk out?
I never said I was leaving Lexington's life. Never, ever, ever, ever will that happen. I'll make sure of that. But with me and you, it's a whole different thing. I want to make sure that they're in a healthy family, not a broken, hurtful family.
So, Miss Woodbury, I see the tears in your eyes. How did that make you feel? It was like the wind got knocked out of you.
It hurts.
And now his feelings about the relationship is that the relationship is contingent upon what's in that envelope Jerome has. And that was news to you.
Yes, Your Honor, it was.
If it was the other way around, she would have done the same thing. And I know that 100%.
I've been here. I haven't left.
You've
I
told
went
me
home.
before, if
I did
I've
go
ever
home.
done anything, you were out the door. There's no talking about it. You've said this to me. If we were switched roles, you would be out the door. And I know that for a fact. I know you.
But I've stayed for all the BS you put me through.
Okay, and I stayed through all the BS you put me through.
I don't think I need to say much. Except these conversations, these real conversations, these uncomfortable conversations are the ones we have to have. But there is one question that we really have to get answered so we can truly have a conversation that is based upon the truth and all of the information needed to determine where you all are gonna go from here. And I have that truth. Jerome, may I have the envelope, please?
Yes, ma'am.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Woodbury versus Cage, when it comes to 1-year-old Lexington Cage, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Cage, you are the father. Thank you. I can see how relieved you are.
Yeah.
How does it feel to just finally know?
I can marry her and finish where we left off, because that was my goal when I met her.
Why are you shaking your head no?
Because
Ms.
it's
Woodbury?
like, it honestly is like, why does it take going to paternity court, taking a DNA test just to like get it? Like, you should believe me when I tell you, not somebody else that's not in our picture. Like,
I want you to just know that before we get to what somebody should do, he should just believe me. You've got to acknowledge that there were countless forces telling him and validating the doubt he felt. Once that happened, it was done. So everything that he should have been, you're only walking him back down to the road that backfired on you. You're telling him what he should have done. He's been trying to do what he should do, but he hasn't been successful because it's not what he really feels.